Today I'm going to be talking about life becoming music. So let's start from the top of my story. I was born and raised in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Um, I'm 25 years old. I started off going to school in Columbia Heights for the first many years of my life. And from that point on, I attended high school at a performing arts place in Hopkins, Minnesota. So basically, what that means is we didn't have a lot of the original sports that a lot of high schools had. We didn't have a lot of the cliques. It was more so a place where a lot of creatives could go and learn to get better at their craft. I guess the most important part of the story happens before high school. When I was younger, I was often the subject of mistreatment. I went through a lot of bullying at a younger age, and it was a lot to go through. Um, there was always a glimmer of hope for me, though, and that was essentially the fact that I could create music. I wasn't very good at it, but I had just this instinctual property to create song. And there was often a lot of times where I had to switch schools because I was a subject of bullying. Um, Countless days where I would eat lunch alone, or have people physically bullying me, physically attacking me, and a lot of days spent crying. And what I would do is I would call my friend up, around 11, 12 years old, and I would we would make up songs on the phone. That's really where music kind of took the place as being the number one most important outlet for me. And from there, it was kind of solidified within my spirit that what I was going to do with the rest of my life was continue to try to grow and perfect this outlet. When I got into high school, it really allowed for me to not have to focus on the clicks, trying to be like everybody else, and allowed for me to feel comfortable in my own skin as a creator because I was with a bunch of like-minded individuals. And if you know creatives, you know that they're often different. So it's not the typical high school jocks. Um, Around the time of 14 is really when the plane took off at full speed. And I would spend every day of my life finding beats online to record to. I would write every day. I had a group of friends I would create with, and it became more than just an activity for me. It became life, and I think that that routine of going through things, feeling things, and then expressing them in my music served me in the long run. Because there was never really a point I felt like I was being dishonest in my music. I was being something I wasn't. I was always trying my best to convey the things that I was seeing, the things I was experiencing as a human around me. When I was 17, I had the option to go to McNally Smith College of Music. I decided I wanted to pursue my bachelor's in music production. Uh, there, in music, there's a lot of things you can teach yourself. I think that when it comes to mixing, when it comes to engineering yourself or learning your way around a recording studio, college education is extremely important because there's so much that you need to learn from a teacher, from people who have been in the music industry. So 17, I started doing post-secondary option. I didn't really attend school for the last half of my senior year. Instead, I was in the studio all the time, as our school gave us continuous access. So through those next years was really spent 16 hours a day, 5, 6, 7 days a week, chiseling that sculpture of a vision that I had for myself. Very hard, uh, a lot of classes, a lot of sleepless nights, and of course, life continues on and you still continue to go through stuff. For me, another turning point was when I was 19 years old. I'd been doing music at that point for quite a while, and I was certainly starting to come into my own skin as a writer, as an artist, as a performer. But my brother passed away from leukemia, And what I decided for myself was, instead of turning to drugs, instead of turning to negative streams of outlet of creative expression, I wanted to I wanted to be able to do something more with his memory, with the pain that I was feeling in my heart. So I had luckily around that same time met Kays at a Best Buy. He came into Best Buy and he wanted to buy a GoPro for his family's vacation, and I somehow convinced him to come in and to listen to my music. At the time, I did not look like the artist I am today. I had this long hair, I had these nerdy glasses, but this man believed in me enough to stream my music, and for some reason, he saw the same vision that I did. And at that same exact time, I met my other mentor, Realistic Productions. We had done a single collaboration in college where we had met. And around that time, as I'd lost the most important person in my life, my brother, my life, the center of my universe, to unforeseen circumstances, to passing away from this world, they kind of took up that role and responsibility of being that guidance for me. And so from there, Realistic and I created an album titled after my late brother. It was called Jacob. And we spent 10 months doing so. And what that did for me is that kept me away from drugs. It kept me away from alcohol. It kept me away from depression. And it allowed me to have an outlet to express the pain that was so unexplainable to myself. But I did my best and I created this album. And so in 2016, we dropped Jacob. And from there on, Realistic and I have become inseparable, as well as Kays and I. Kays acted as my music manager, and we learned how to throw our own shows. We created it under an umbrella known as Going After New Goals, Gang for short. We called it Sota Gang. And what that was about trying to do more than the bare minimum of life and connecting creative individuals in the state of Minnesota. It was not about somebody being in the highest. It was not about anybody being the best. It was about artists getting their own, because I saw so many people taking advantage of new and upcoming artists. So then from that point, Realistic and I created musically and developed a bond that is unbreakable, as I'm sitting here in Atlanta, where life has landed me, and we're recording and creating together every day. To Kays and I, having developed a brotherhood, and him guiding me through every single step of the way and teaching me how to be my own manager, teaching me how to run my own shows. And I took on the role of being the leader of Sota Gang, and that dream continues on today. The reason that I decided to call this talk Life Becoming Music is because as a creator, you have the opportunity to put on a facade and try to be something you're not, or you have the opportunity to live life to the fullest and let that expand you as an artist. And that is something that I truly believe is so special and such a blessing about being a creative. For me, it is not about trying to be the best, but yet the best version of myself. And I have an overabundance of passion for living life. And that does not make me work any less hard. It does not make me uh, anything but a human. And I instead am continuously on the journey of experiencing life and putting that into my music. One thing about myself is I will not surrender my great passion for living life for trying to achieve some materialistic success, trying to be the biggest out there. And so for me, living life, giving myself breaks, um, trying to enjoy my life, developing a social life has been extremely important, because in every which way it rubs off into the music. Um, about a year and a half ago, uh, I had decided that I was going to drop everything in my life. This foundation I had built for myself, I was going to leave, going after new goals, throwing events all the time, and I wanted to seek more as a human being in my life experience. And so I decided to pack my bags and I moved to Hawaii by myself. I'd never been there. I'd never met anybody there. and it was a completely new experience for me. I was completely alone, but in return, the universe had let me know that that was the best decision that I ever could have made for myself. I found my family there. I found a life that I could not have dreamt up for myself. And I felt so hand in hand with the universe, with God, with my late brother. And it allowed me to fully transform into my own human being. And although I was there and although I was enjoying life and it was the ride of a lifetime and allowed me to grow in ways I never could have imagined for myself, I understood that this dream is alive in me. And about the same time, Realistic had moved down to Atlanta, working under Sound Oracle and creating his own platforms as an independent producer. And about 10 months after I'd moved to Hawaii, I once again packed my bags and I moved over here to Atlanta with 2 suitcases in my car. Um, for me, now being settled in this position, being able to look at my life from a bird's eye view, I'm able to see how all of the things and experiences that have happened to me in life have gotten me to where I am. When I go into the studio, it's not about trying to one up anybody except for myself. It is about truly learning how to express my feelings and the things that I go through in the best way possible. Music always doesn't have to be so personal. So in music, you find that it may not be a direct correlation of what you're going through in life, but may be a painting based on the things that are happening in the reality around you. So a lot of artists put this over pressure on yourself, but the best thing I can ever tell people is to practice, practice, practice. I often refer to it like trying to be an NBA player or trying to be in um, a major league sports team. You have to practice. And what that means is practicing at your craft. So, you know, instead of somebody going to their basketball practice every day, you write songs every single day of your life. You exercise in the gym because you need to be able to perform. You need your mind to be straight. You need to be disciplined with yourself. In this career, in this chosen life of being a creator, nobody is going to be able to hold you accountable except for yourself. And if you let yourself down, you let the dream down, you let the people around you down as well. Um, One thing that I'm very proud of is my ability. There are often is my ability to be disciplined. There are often nights where I can't sleep, and through the blessings of God, I am able to go down 2 flights of stairs, and we have 2 beautiful studios that I can go record in. I never take that for granted, and I work hard. I work very hard. I've been doing this since I was a little kid, and yet I still spend just about all day, every day in the studio with that fire. But that fire is only lit because I have allowed life to become music, because I have this great passion for experiencing and living life to the fullest. So for every day that I go out with my friends or every day I go on a walk, I let that become a part of my passion. I let conversations with other like-minded individuals, with strangers, with anybody, light that fuel for myself. And what that does is that takes some of the pressure off and continues on with that passion. Life becoming music is about more than what Instagram or Twitter or Facebook will have you believe, which is a bunch of likes. Life becoming music is about the legacy you leave as a human being, because we are only here for a finite amount of time. And you have the option to leave a legacy. You have the option to inspire others. There are going to be songs that you write or things that you do not even begin to comprehend in this moment are going to affect people in the way they are. And so when you're creating, when you're working at your dreams, understand that so much of the time it's about more than just yourself. But at the end of the day, it all starts with self. Life becoming music is about your passion, whatever your outlet is, growing as you grow as a human being. If you take a lot of the pressure off of yourself from receiving likes, views, from getting clout, blog posts, and you put the focus on your craft and doing what you love, you'd never lose a day in your life. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you're at the top of the world, people still get depressed. People are still unhappy with their lives. And what that says is that the core fundamentals for happiness as a human being come from the smallest of things. It doesn't come from money, doesn't come from materialistic possessions, and it doesn't come from clout. It comes from your journey as a human being and what you're doing to take care of yourself. And those types of things reflect off in your music. It reflects off in the way that you interact with others, the unconditional kindness you give to others, because we put weights in the wrong place. And as I continue to grow and age as a human being, for me, it is about learning every day how to do something I couldn't do yesterday, or being a better person than I was yesterday. And I understand that with the hard work and with the growth that I'm constantly seeking as a human being, the success will come in its own ways, in God's divine timing. And so never lose sight on the most important factors, that your life should go hand in hand with your dreams, with your passions, and that discipline is going to be everything for you. No matter what life's thrown at me, from the days when I would go home and I would cry and I would sit in my mother's arms because people viewed me differently, you know, growing up with a gay dad, right? People would give me so much crap for that. People would put my name down because I was an Arab. They would call me a terrorist. There would be groups of people that would attack the music I would make when I was younger. They would dislike it. They would have their friends go on and comment, and they would tell me I'm never going to be anything. People would lie to me. People would take advantage of me. I lost so many people in my life passing away by the time that I was 20 years old. I thought my life may be nothing except darkness, but I found the color again. My life at one point felt black and white, and I found my way into the color. And that never happened through materialistic success as a musician. It happened through learning to love life in itself, doing things that make me happy, keeping myself surrounded with like-minded individuals who are gang, going after new goals. And from there, every point when I felt down, it picked me up. And I have learned to accumulate the tools in my life that keep me going. It's about so much more than what so much of these magazines and blogs will have you believe it's about. So as you are chasing your dreams, understand and remind yourself every chance you get that our time is finite. You are only here for so long. All of these things we put our stresses on do not follow you into the next lives. It is about your spiritual evolution. And finding ways to convey that is going to be the most important thing for you. Whether you are a creator, whether you're a lawyer, whether you're a teacher, having ways to express the things that you feel inside of you. And it doesn't even have to be vocal, it doesn't have to be through writing. But those are going to be the tools that allow for you to be happy. Do what you need to do to make yourself happy now. I'm thankful for everybody that has been around me. The universe has done nothing short but pull miracles every step of the way to make sure that I feel there are people in my circle that care for me, that want the best for me. And it has allowed for me to keep on the straight and narrow, continue to discipline myself when everybody's watching, when the pressure's on, and when nobody's watching. And I have found that I am just in love with the journey in itself. The rest will come in its own time, but I am happy right here, right now. And the only things that I could do to honor all of the pain that I went through, that younger self in me that would Google pictures of studios and dream about what it would be like to be able to record every chance I got. I sit here now as an adult, as a 25-year-old, expert in my craft, and I know that I made the right choices. And that doesn't mean that I don't have fun in my life. I have a lot of fun. And I make sure every chance I get, I take the necessary time to rest. I take the necessary time to travel because the world is big. And each of those experiences has allowed for me to grow as an artist. So don't put your pressure in the wrong places. Pressure, yes, it makes diamonds, but make sure You're understanding what you're getting yourself into. You are the 5 closest people in your life to you. So if you have the wrong individuals, you're going to tend to make the wrong mistakes, and you're going to tend to be on the wrong track and develop the wrong habits. And even as an adult, understanding that you can wake up every day with that Mamba mentality, trying to be the greatest version of yourself. That's so important. I was listening to something the other day. It was actually one of these talks where they talk about the first 7 years of your life, you're moldable, completely malleable as a human being. So it's the easiest to learn things, but in the rest, things become harder. But don't let that deter you from changing, from trying to be better. Because the greatest feelings that you can experience for yourself don't come from your ego. They come from those silent moments of kindness to others, unconditional love and forgiveness for others and yourself, and taking those moments to truly be appreciative of the progress you've made as a human being. Life becoming music is about transforming yourself into more than just a creator, more than just a writer and performing, but allowing for life, your spiritual evolution as a human being, and your hustle to go hand in hand with whatever your dream is. I hope that this and my story, a little bit about it, could help you in some way with your form